And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com to go and download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Make sure you get yourself down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off the great fried chicken, the tendies, the chicken dippers, all the great sides. Get you a nice cold beverage. You guys have been showing out down at Galactic Fried Chicken lately, so thank you for that. Or if you're anywhere in the 275 loop, pretty much they will bring it to you right through the app. So continue to support our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken, not just because they're our good friends, but also because they have the best fried chicken in the city. All right, Tuesday, talking about talking. I went right. I went with the fastball right from the start.
Ask him the hard questions, Chad. Be a man.
Yeah, be a man. Be a man on these Twitter streets. Be a man. I'm a man. 45. I asked him about the Mike Houston comments. I'm surprised he had not. He had heard apparently the Holt Nailers quotes from after the game. I'm a touch surprised he had not heard what Mike Houston said, saying it was a dirty play, and
he looked genuinely surprised. It didn't look like he was feigning surprise there.
You can usually tell when he's telling you that he doesn't know something when he knows. Like, he
doesn't have a great poker face.
No, he doesn't. And it's kind of become, after 6 years, kind of a running joke on stuff that we know that he knows, and he's like,
I live under a rock.
I live under a rock, right? Like, and we didn't really get the "I live under a rock." We got
sure didn't.
He said that like out loud into a microphone. It was kind of the response. Like, I know he was mad, but like, but you said it in the pre-show meeting, like he hit the nail on the head. Well, we're not playing them ever again. So
no, I think the biggest thing there is just, especially Luke Fickell prides himself on being a man of
great
integrity, playing the game the way that it's supposed to be played. He's a traditionalist at heart, I truly believe, and I don't know, when you call all of those things into question, he's probably not going to take too kindly to it.
Right. I also think he knows it's a lot of sour grapes from ECU's part because they couldn't ever beat the Bearcats.
Yeah, he waxed that ass.
Right. One way or the other, it was 5-0. Well, at ECU won the first year, I think, right? But Mike Houston wasn't there.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, year one, we should have been 1-11 year that we don't really talk about. But Mike Houston wasn't the head coach there at the time. So
Holt Nailers also wasn't the quarterback at the time.
He was on the team, I think. He was a redshirt that year.
His first year he was class of 2018.
Was he? Okay, so he didn't redshirt. I thought he redshirted. Anyhow, I'm done really talking about this. Just we had to get.
They're not. Comment. It's still all over Twitter.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're still talking about the same things. I didn't get involved in any of it because you can't argue with people who are dumb.
I did make one quote to that podcast, and he deleted his tweet because you don't want this smoke. Like, you can argue back and forth with Dave. That's one thing. I'm throwing fastballs.
I don't have time. I don't care.
I mean, I think you should. They offered up if anybody in the Cincinnati media wants to come on our podcast and talk about the refs cheating and all the poorly called plays that.
Chad, it's Tuesday. I don't give a shit about a game that we won on Saturday.
I know, but I just think it would be funny if you went on that podcast and just lit them up. like Angry Aaron showed up, it would be great.
Obviously, I have to talk about it tonight for PTP, but after tonight, I'm putting it behind me. No more. I don't ever have to say the name Holton Ahlers again.
But I still think it would be fun if you went on that podcast and just lit them up. Like you'd have to you couldn't sleep for like a day and a half. Your hair would have to be all disheveled. Angry Aaron would you'd need the headband and the wild hair. Yeah. I think it would be hilarious. And just do it for the content, like not even mean anything that you said. Just go be unhinged.
Just be the Trojan horse.
Right. I think it would be phenomenal, but it's over. I'm done. That's the other. I'm so done with all of the each week we get reminded. Oh, I hated those guys. Like that place was annoying as shit.
Yeah, Temple coming. Glaring example.
Yeah, here's another one.
Glaring example.
Coming up this week. I don't think people are going to be real thrilled with an announcement coming from UC football tomorrow. Dun 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 dun. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
You know what that means?
I don't.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Okay. In any case, what else did Luke talk about? He was asked about how much November meant, and they had to put themselves into these positions to be able to play. I actually liked later on when Will Huber said November is contenders. I think that was a fantastic quote. But obviously,
Luke essentially said they're entering the playoffs this week.
And Trey was very buttoned up about all of his answers when he was asked just how much everything is on the line. They're focused on these games. They're not focused on things like the show, the show tonight for the college football playoff, where they may be somewhere in that top 25. They don't care. Trey Tucker didn't even realize you called him Trey Scott earlier this week too. But Trey Tucker said he didn't even realize they were ranked. And I believe it. I mean, I don't know how much TV can be watched in a house where your roommate has candles, neck pillow, and walking around in a bathrobe, meditating and what have you.
TV is going to mess with the water feature.
I'm sure. Yeah. How do you hear the fountain if you got the TV on?
TV's on all the time.
You can't do it. Right.
Turn that down. I'm trying to chill, trying to be one. Woosah. Luke gave a lot of credit to Temple, and let's be honest, that was a Temple team. It felt like a month ago that was trending towards just a complete disaster.
Yeah, we were not sure if Temple or South Florida was the worst, and they were both really, really bad. All of a sudden, EJ Warner has figured it out. He's starting to put some things together, and maybe the game's slowing down for him.
Clearly is. I mean, well, then let's be fair. The two defenses they played are a disaster that they put up a boatload of yards on right now.
Yeah, but regardless, scoring roughly 90 points in two games is no easy feat.
Exactly 90 points.
No easy feat as Cincinnati struggles to score 30.
And that wasn't even a game where one team scored 77.
Correct. It's been a wild couple of weeks here in the American.
The good old American.
American.
Hell yeah. That was a long time ago when the league started. That's what I thought the slogan should have been. American. Hell yeah. Like when they do all the TV hits and.
Well, you know how BK adjusts his accent to wherever he's at the time.
Yeah.
If he was still here, it very well could have ended up being BK going to a press conference for UC, yeah, we're in another American game here, and
or especially once the league office moved to Texas, it should have been American. Hell yeah! The green wave with an American flag on the back of a pickup truck.
Oh my god!
Or the shocker, just the big head of wheat. What's more American than a head of wheat?
Good
Anyhow, yeah, it was very. I mean, we're in week 11, week 12, like going into the 12th week of the season. You're not getting anything out of these press conferences anymore.
No, they are all over, and I think that's why you saw Trey Tucker and Will Huber as your two student athletes up there, because they have mastered coach speak.
Oh yeah, like they always have lieutenants that they know they can send to the podium. I joked around with this about Joel DeBlanco today. As soon as the Cotton Bowl was over, they took the programming chip out of Joel and put it into Wilson Huber. Because if you go back and watch anything from Joel last year, like he was a robot. Like he was programmed exactly what to say, when to say it. That was not the guy that was on the BVP last night. That guy was freaking hilarious.
How fun was that, though?
If you haven't watched it, I'm imploring you to go watch last night's BVP. Like we did. I thought there was some good football talk. Yeah, I thought there was some good football talk early. And then the longer and longer it went, the more and more that thing just went off the rails. It was phenomenal. It was so good.
Probably the most fun I had producing any of our shows ever.
Like yeah, any of the shows And I've been doing this a lot longer than you, and I would still. The only other one that was probably more fun never made it to the light of day because the file corrupted the second that I hit end on the podcast. Because back before COVID, the technology to record these things was not where it's at now.
Yeah.
And that was Jason Kelsey. Me and Tim Adams interviewed Jason Kelsey, and it got ruined like instantly. And I literally was sick to my stomach.
I would have cried.
I was close. I was close. I was mad for like 3 days that we didn't. And he's never come back on since then. I think he was so mad that he sat there for an hour with us and the podcast didn't work. So now he's the biggest podcast host in the world, or the sports world. Jerk.
Anything else though from the presser today?
I don't have a whole lot from really. No, do you?
Unfortunately, talking, like we said, it was robotic. The only way that it could have been even more robotic is if they had also thrown Ben Bryant out there, and it would have been much of the same. So I don't know. They don't give you. They're not making quote. I mean, the biggest quote of the day was probably "November is for contenders." If that tells you anything.
Yeah.
And
it was a cliche.
Yeah.
The biggest quote of the day was a cliche.
And Luke's reaction to Mike Houston.
I love. Can we get them in like a charity match? Just get them in the ring, a couple rounds. Even I don't care, wrestling, UFC.
My money's on Luke breaking his nose.
Boxing, yeah, whatever it is. The format doesn't matter. That guy's got no chance against Luke Fickell. No chance.
Say it to my face.
NKU tomorrow night. It should be an interesting game.
It should be an interesting day.
Road game. Isaiah Collier's announcement. We don't know when yet. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple sources on any idea when it might be. Evening, afternoon, evening-ish. I've heard both as possibilities. So I will be monitoring that as soon as I find out, get confirmation on when he plans on doing it. I will let everybody know. There's apparently a meeting tonight at the Collier household. Could be going on right now to decide on where they're going to go.
Say your prayers before bed. Say your prayers before bed, you knuckleheads.
Eat your vitamins, say your prayers, all the stuff that Hulkamaniacs are supposed to do. That's going to wrap it up. PTP tonight. A Reagan appearance, I hear.
Yep, Reagan.
That's exciting.
And the Bangalorian.
There you go. All right, we'll see you next time. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken. right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See it.